Today we're going to show you how to build and assemble a base spice rack cabinet. This procedure that we're going to show you can be used to assemble any of our other cabinets regardless of color. Start by opening the box of the cabinet. Once you have that open up, you can proceed and put to the side all the accessories and cabinet pieces that are included in the box. Make sure not to lose any of the smaller accessories. The brackets fit into two pairs of holes on the rear panel of the cabinet. Make sure the brackets are facing in, and if it is necessary, you could use a rubber mallet to hammer them into the holes. After which you could secure the brackets firmly onto the panel by using the included screws in the kit. Make sure that they are roughly 15 1/4 of an inch from the top of the panel. Now we're going to move ahead to the frame. Start by applying your preferred wood glue along the grooves on either side and bottom of the cabinet, and then take one of the side panels of the cabinet and put in some glue to the side groove, after which you could place it onto its corresponding position and then lock it into place with the cam locks. Do the same to the other side. And also secure it into place. Then you could take the bottom panel and slide it between the two panels before you take that rear piece and apply glue to both the bottom groove and to the sides of the panel. Make sure everything lines up. So then you could tighten it with the cam locks. If there is any wood glue seeping from the grooves, you could go ahead and wipe those off with a cleaning cloth. At times it may be necessary to get a rubber mallet so then you could fit everything into place. Go ahead now and install the kick plate, locking it into place with the cam locks. And then to make the cabinet even sturdier, you could use a staple gun along the back of the cabinet. We suggest using 1 and 1/4 inch staples for this. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on the glides. Start by removing the inner pieces from the housing. And then make sure you make a mark on 15 and 1/4 inches right on the frame of the cabinet. You want to make a straight line there, as we're going to use it as a guide later on. Now you could go ahead and fit the glide into the bracket that's on the rear panel of the cabinet. And then you could go ahead and secure the glide with one of the included screws. Do the same to the other side. Again, by measuring 15 and 1/4 inches from the top of the cabinet. And again, making that mark right there. Go ahead and stand the cabinet up. We're now going to start building the spice rack of the cabinet. Start by aligning or putting the box together. And as you can see, there are guides in the back for screws, or you could also use a staple gun to initially hold it into place before you then proceed to screw the two pieces together. You could follow the procedure we used to build the first rail of the box, so then you could build the remaining two. And then you put in the other side of the panel in front of these rails to secure them together. These are held together by screws, but you can initially secure this into place with staples. You could use one of the putties we sell at Cabinet Stone to putty up those holes left by the screws. And then get a rag and some wood cleaner to make it look nicer. Now we're going to mark where the glide is going to go. It is roughly 9.5 inches. So make sure you line up the smaller inner piece of the glide with those markings we made. Make sure it is nice and leveled. And you could go ahead and trace that glide there. You can now go ahead and screw the inner glide to the rack. And then flip the piece over, so then we could do the same to the other side. 9.5 inches from the top. Go ahead now and place the rack into the housing, lining up the glides into their housing inside of the cabinet. Make sure it slides in smoothly. He placed that wooden block there so then it could help him to put on the door. You want it to be just a little bit off the lip of the cabinet on the bottom. Try to center it as best you can. You might need to use some sort of clasp to hold that door into place before you can secure it. Once you're sure that door is nice and even, you could go ahead and screw it to the rack. Make sure you secure the door at the top and at the middle, and if necessary, also at the bottom of the rack to make sure you're secured. Afterwards, you should have a fully assembled bass spice rack cabinet.